Welcome back to the SME Soup podcast. Joining me today is Dr. Sajan of the Danube Group. A medical doctor by training and an artist at heart, she has seamlessly transitioned from a business powerhouse, driving growth for one of the region's most iconic family conglomerates. From spearheading aesthetic excellence to championing blue-collar welfare, Dr. Sana joins us to discuss how she is redefining leadership, legacy, and social impact in the UAE. Dr. Sana, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really looking forward to our conversation today.
I've been looking forward to this. The Danube Group is so vast and so wide. I really want to take us all the way back to the beginning of the company, and how did you start sort of getting involved?
So the beginning of the company goes back 33 years. It started when Rizwan Sajan, who's our chairman, which I call Daddy, happily, he started and established it as a building materials company. And Dubai had his beautiful vision. And today where we stand, along with Dubai, we were also prospering and making our way forward. And there was a big opening of constructions in the 2000s, where in 2002, there was a freehold open. And that's when the building material also started expanding. And we are very proud today that we say we are one of the top building material companies in the region. But besides that, that helped us have an edge to be able to have the expertise of the materials which are used in building or construction. And not only that, while the journey was on, we also have the interiors with the Danube Home. And all of that got together really beautifully. And that's when we decided in 2014 to start Danube Properties. And here we are today. It's been a very beautiful journey. And my father-in-law, he decided that I would add some value probably to it. And I'm really happy today to be the director for channel partners and relationships.
Well, the success of the group is self-evident. If you drive anywhere in Dubai, you see the Danube logo on buildings, but you've also got a number of different verticals as part of the business. Can you talk to us about some of the other things that Danube does?
That's correct. We have a few verticals. So as I said, we started as Danube Building Materials, but we also have Milano, which is our own brand for bathroom fittings and kitchen. We also have Casa Milano, which is a very upscale luxury brand for bathroom fittings and kitchens. Really, I'm proud of the brand called Danube Home, which has been developed by my husband. It's about interiors, and one of the things where home improvements covered from top to bottom. You don't have to go anywhere else. We love to bring to people a one-stop shop for everything wherever we go, and that's because when you bring to the client something they don't even know that they needed, that's where you create a need, and when you meet it, the clients are definitely happy. Besides that, we have Danube Sports World, which was a beautiful initiative. It's absolutely a passion project, and it has been doing well so far. We are really happy. It's one of the largest indoor sports facilities in the world and the largest in the region. And we are really happy to host different tournaments there. And it's the spirit of sports and also health. It aligns with the Dubai spirit as well. What Sheikh Fazai, of course, he's our ambassador for it. And of course, we have Danube Properties, which is our youngest baby, but definitely one of the strongest one.
Well, of course. And let's take it back to the beginning on yourself, right? So you're a dentist by trade, am I correct?
I am.
How does that work?
So my parents, it all goes back to them. My parents' family, we have 36 doctors and increasing by the day.
Very successful.
I mean, we're really happy and very proud to be coming from such a family. And besides this, there is another diaspora in my family of art literatures and also some scientists. And while all of that was happening, I met Adil, which is just completely a different horizon of business family. It was a very interesting meet when for the first time because he's all business and I'm all art and science. So I wonder what are my kids going to be like. That's also going to be something interesting to watch. But yes, I'm coming from medical background, and my father is the one who inspired me to become a doctor.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's been a very happy doctor, and that's what made me always think that I want to be a doctor who's happy and who spreads happiness as well. And that's what happened. I did become a dentist spreading smiles, literally. While all of that happened, I also happened to get into an MBA where I studied about business side of it. Because when you become a doctor, they don't teach you how to do business and
No,
how
of
to deal
course.
with the world. And in today's day and age, either you go into complete philanthropy, or if you really want to make the better side of the world, you really need to understand how marketing and business works. And that's where the MBA helped me. And I think that has helped me today to shape myself into what I am.
I think it's a really interesting subject, right? So you've gone into an education forum and you've learned to become a doctor, which is an amazing expertise. But I think transitioning from an academic side into a business side, how did you find transitioning between those two worlds?
Initially, it is always a tug of war between the heart and the brains. Because when you become a doctor, originally, what I know of all the doctors, that they come into this field because they want to help people and heal people. And when you meet the world, it's not that simple, right? So you want to be helping people, but today, if you want to help people, you need to have some base to yourself. So first you help yourself, then only you can help other people. So that's where comes in the business side of your work. And if you want to make business, then comes ethics and a lot of other things which come into role play. And that's where I thought that, okay, marketing is important for doing your work right and getting into the right place. So that's where it was into pharmaceutics, and I got into the medical training over there. And that's where I learned a lot of best practices from multinationals.
Okay.
And I think that has also shaped me as a professional.
So who did you leverage sort of insights from an international perspective?
I am still claiming that Novartis is the best school of thought. They are definitely really, really amazing in educating their own staff and people who they're working with, and also people outside. They're very ethical, and they have worked over decades and decades. They brought in very good molecules into the world, and they're really professional at achieving what they're doing. And the best part is they're keeping ethics in place. So that's where I learned that you can do work, you can earn money, and while keeping ethics in place. And that's what has helped me professionally. And while all of this was happening, I met Adil. And Adil is somebody, at that time, he had not done his master's from Harvard. And even though he was young, I could see everything that I was studying in my master's in business administration. He was already applying it on the ground.
Okay.
And that really made me respect him. So that's where I started furthermore learning from him. And then we got married on that course.
So you're obviously the director of the medical center wing of Danube. When did the decision come to carve out that as its own separate instance within the...
So when I got married, we were looking at where would I be a good fit. So there was one area of Danube Welfare Center, because I've always been very keen on helping people, and Dad is also a very, very kind person. So we have a center called Danube Welfare Center. We try to help people however possible. The main aspect of Danube Welfare Center is where we do education for blue-collared workers. And that was something that really made me, to be honest, I would use the term excited, because that was one area which I always wanted to do. And there it was. So I grabbed that opportunity, and we were able to enroll 5,000 blue-collared workers.
Oh, wow.
And we established, and thanks to JAVSA, they gave us a place, and we were able to establish a kind of a center for their education, where it was not just spoken and written English, but also we were doing presentation and discussions about how to do an interview, how to put a tie, how to wear a suit.
Wow.
And we were able to, enable them to be able to rise within their companies or get better jobs, or some smaller things, which really take you for a long distance. Everyone comes, a big population is from the expat population here. And when they're coming, let's say a blue-collared worker from Bangladesh is coming here, when he goes back, he wears a nice shirt and, acts like, yes, he's coming back from Dubai. So my idea was to educate that blue collared worker in a way that he has the better skills of being that Mr. XYZ who's returning from Dubai, and he is able to give those skills back to his children as well. You understand? So elevating them in Dubai so that they can take that elevation back to their family, because no blue collared worker wants their children to be following their footsteps. Everyone wants them to be elevated higher. For example, a skill of using a fork and knife or wearing a tie. These are small things which you don't come across very easily in the haste and fight of life. But when we make those windows here, you can get that skill and take it back to your children and make your children proud of you.
Yeah, I mean, when I was doing research for this episode, the wellness side really interested me. I mean, you do a lot of things, and we'll touch on each one of those independently.
But yeah, you asked me about the medical side. So while this Danube Welfare Center established, on the side, I was feeling that I'm not doing justice to my education.
Okay.
And that's where I started feeling that I'm only spending money. I would like to make some money as well.
Okay.
So that's where American Aesthetics was established. And I was really happy that we were able to create this medical center for aesthetic transformation under one roof.
Sure.
So that's how it started. And we were really happy to have it, go forward.
And it's been a huge success. So Dubai is widely known as one of the places you come to for that kind of treatment. How have you differentiated yourselves in terms of the aesthetics field?
To tell you honestly, Dubai is, as you rightfully said, Dubai is the center for aesthetic transformation along with a lot of other things. And medical tourism is definitely one of the biggest selling points in that area. The connectivity is fabulous. People want to come to Dubai anyway for tourism. And then the facilities are all state of the art. So my job was to bring the right doctors in place and to create a system which is smooth and giving them good quality treatment in the right pricing. So I was not a person who would price myself really high above what the market price is going. The idea is to bring it to the people in the right price, but at the same time, the service should be so beautiful that they keep coming back. Because that was the whole idea, and it's been doing well.
So let's double click on some of that. So a lot of our companies are new to bank, they're new to region, they're starting their scaling journey, right? Did you start with one center?
Yes.
And then you sort of tested and learned, and then you talk to me about how you've scaled the business from one to many centers.
So we're talking SME here. It's a few multi-million dollars, right? Turnaround. So any new branch that you open for any business, the most important thing is you do a feasibility, right? And that's when you see that what will be your targets, what are you planning to do? And you need to know that for the first 5 years, what is your plan? In the first 3 years, you know that you should be ready to be able to take the brunt of it failing as well.
Okay.
And failing does not mean that you're closing it down, but failing here, there are a lot of things that come in that you're not making good business, you're making a lot of losses. So that's in the first 3 years is a lot of SMEs, though they really feel that, okay, let's close down the shop. But you really need to know that the first 5 years are critical. And in that, the first 3 years, you should keep in mind that you will most probably be making losses. Even if you come at even point at the third year, that's success. If you keep that real mindset, I think you can go forward much easier.
Yeah, I think the relevance to the consumer side is living paycheck to paycheck, right? Yeah. And that's obviously quite difficult. What are some of the mechanisms that businesses can use to sort of bridge the gap between invoices from customers? And did you leverage any of those in your early days?
See, so the best part about American Aesthetics as a small business was that we were not dependent on insurance. That is a loop where the payments coming back get stretched. So because we were a cash payment, so it was a much better system for us.
Okay.
So there we had a big benefit.
Clearer visibility of what's coming in.
Yes, and we were having a very good department. For example, hair transplant, when we started, it was not very big at that time. So we were able to leverage on that. And we had a fabulous Turkish doctor who was heading that department, and it's all famous. So we made sure that we get the best of the people. But when your top line is doing well, you need to ensure what is coming before EBITDA. And then your marketing and all your expenses are into place. And you really need to monitor those. My opinion, it is important to work on the top line, but it is the bottom line which ultimately really gives you the green, right? So how do we um, make sure that that gap is better,
Mhm.
you know. Um, Planning,
Mhm.
planning, planning. So these are the first three steps. You discuss with the experts, make a good plan, and try and get everybody on board as a team. I feel that a lot of times what happens that people who are directors or owners, they create a plan, but there is lack of communication amongst the team, and the team doesn't even know what and where you're headed. So I think communication is the next one after planning, that whatever you have planned, you need to communicate it with the team and then bring them on board as owners.
Mhm.
This is something which is very important because everyone who is an office boy or an office girl who's bringing the tea to the person or somebody who's giving a towel to the guest or a client, that person plays a very big role. That smile or welcome from the reception or hello or a good morning, that plays a very big role. But how do you infect them with your energy?
Mm.
So communication is the second key. And that's where you are able to, ask them and give them that authority that you are the owner if you communicated your dream with them. The last but not the least, once you're giving the ownership, it is important to, also get it out of them as a review that have you been able to deliver this and review it with them. So a regular review with your team, depending on the urgency, of course, you do that. And that's when they also start feeling that, yes, I'm answerable. And that's when their ownership translates into business and their responsibilities translate into business. So I think connecting your team with your dream is definitely very, very important.
No, I love that. I think those are guiding principles that are universal, not just in your industry, but globally as well.
But isn't it exactly? The basics are the same around the world.
Yeah.
Whatever you need to do, forget business, even in family. Ultimately, you're a team. If you have, let's say, more than one kids, okay, you have to gather them, bring them together. If there are any family values, you need to communicate not only words by words, but also with your action. These are the things which you really need to bring into communication. And values come down to basics. Teamwork comes down to basics. And that's what I always tell my friends as well, or whoever asks me the question that, what is one thing that you would tell me to do? I always tell them stick to the basics.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. And as you rightfully said, that yes, it's the same around the world with all the businesses.
I think what founders struggle with, certainly from the ones that we speak to, is essentially when you start a company, you're on your own. A lot of the time, it's just you. And you've obviously placed a lot of emphasis in what you've told us on gathering the right team, making sure you have the right expertise. How did you ensure, number one, that you had the right doctors? You mentioned before making sure that you had the right doctors, right? There are many doctors, but how do you make sure you get the right ones? And then with the team that is required to scale the business, how do you make sure that you get the right accounting team or the right sales team and all of the other
So
sort
one
of
of the
verticals?
big advantages that I had was having the mother company as Danube. So there the HR is very well established. So they really helped me with their expertise. But besides that, see, my belief, any business that you're running, it is like a marriage, and when you're doing partnership, it doesn't have to be a partner in your business, but anybody who's working with you is kind of your partner. This is what I believe in my head. And whoever is coming on board is like a partner to me. And just like a relationship in marriage or a relationship with your boyfriend or girlfriend, that chemistry is really important. The shared relationship, the shared values are really important. How you want to scale your business, if you're sharing that dream also is important, or aligning together. Or you also understand that if you want to agree to disagree, so there are a lot of factors that come into that partnership. So whoever you are bringing on board at different stratas in the hierarchy, I feel that it is a little bit of a hit and trial as well. You do for sure go through the interviews and all the lineups and everything, and you try to do your best in hiring. But along the course of time, sometimes it happens that it's not working out. So then there is a turnover.
I have a concept that I use internally as well, which is I think interviewing is a skill set. I don't think everybody should be allowed to interview to hire. I think you need to be able to read people. I think you need to be able to understand.
It's a definitely big skill set.
If you're just going through these cookie cutter questions, you run the risk of not bringing on the right person. So I have a particular style when I'm interviewing someone who's just very much like a podcast. What I'll do is I'll talk for 5 to 10 minutes of the interview, and then I'll stop. Because what I'm looking for is, has the person ingested what we're talking about? Is the theming correct? And where can I add value to that? More successful people can sort of gather that information, turn it around in their minds, and move forward with it.
Very nicely said by you that it's a big skill set. Some people are instinctively blessed at reading people well, but there are some people who are not instinctively blessed, but they can learn the techniques, which is also a very good thing. My husband, the MD, Mr. Adil Sajan, he is very, very insistent on one thing: hire slow, fire fast.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's great.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah.
And we have seen that, when you're hiring, sometimes we are in a rush because we want to fill in a position. It happens because we're in need of that person, right? And it happens that we happen to hire really fast, and then there are costs along with it. It is not just the hiring cost, but there are a lot of costs which come along the way of losses that you're coming, because you're opening your database, you're opening all your marketing plans and everything to the person who's wrongly hired. So I think we are working intentionally on one thing at the pace of hiring, that you hire slow, hire the right person if you can, and fire fast. Because if that person is not suitable, you really need to have that eye that, okay, you know what? It's really not working out. It's fine. It's not you, it's me. But no, it's good to take that action again. But that comes with a little bit of an experience for sure, and for the smaller businesses, when they happen to have this kind of exercise, sometimes they take it on hard, or they take it emotionally or personally. I also feel that passion and emotions are very important, but at the same time, you need to keep your head on your shoulders. You need to have certain, best practices in place in that area as well, that emotions sometimes should not be brought forward, because that really affects your decision making, So for the smaller businesses, for sure, that's one of the things that they should keep in mind.
Amazing. Yeah. So I guess we've gone through the growth of yourself into that business, into hiring and scaling and running your own division within the Danube Group. But obviously, it's a very successful family business, and each of the verticals is owned by a particular member of that family. How does it work at that level, at the director level? Do you come together once a month? Do you have like an exco? Like at the banking level, we do that quite regularly. Yeah. How does it work in Danube?
So, the advantage of having a family-run business is that you can talk business at home as well. And so much so about work-life balance. Thing. Our life is our work, and our life and work cannot be separated. And we love and enjoy talking about work, because that's what we all are together in for. So when it is different verticals, yes, we meet. And how we meet is to optimize time. We sit at a lunch.
Okay.
And then we discuss. So it's bonding at the same time. We discuss whatever needs to be discussed. If it is personal or professional, we segregate that. But personal, it is usually all sorted, because we are very simple people, to be honest. And we are really blessed that way. Usually it is professional directions, or what is going on in the market, or what is coming up. So we discuss that over lunches.
It's fascinating, because they usually say don't go into business with family and friends, but you've made a successful model out of it.
I would give 100% credit to our chairman, Mr. Rizwan Sajan. He is one person, he's a friend of friends, and he's one of the best leaders that I know of and I have read about. I look up to leaders like Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, and they're under their leadership. You can actually see what they're doing. And in the same line, for me, Chairman Mr. Rizwan Sajan, he is a hero, because I live with him and I know in and out. I happen to admire him so much that we're almost writing a book about him.
Oh, really?
And how he deals with things in personal and professional front. For example, he makes sure, I'll give you a day about his life, yeah? He wakes up in the morning, he goes happily singing a song into a swimming, then he goes for his yoga, then he does a half an hour of strength training, which we have now asked him to do this year onwards. And then he sits with his mom to have his breakfast. Then he sits with his wife and asks for a breakfast, and we all rush to our work.
It's 2 breakfasts.
Yeah.
That's it.
We share, yeah. It's beautiful. No, because grandma is awake earlier.
Of course.
And then, and he wants to have that exclusive time with her. So what I love that he is giving that balanced time to everybody. And then we're at work where he's giving 200% of it. And then once he comes back home, he's the last one to come home from office, by the way. He comes around 10:30 sometimes. And that's when he meets everyone, hello, hi, and then he goes to fulfill the obligations of invitations of his friends. So I'm just trying to explain here that he's such a 100% beautiful person who covers all the aspects of relationships. If you see him as a leader at work, he will make sure that he's empowering each leader of the department. And he will also make sure that he's following up. So his follow up is one of the biggest keys at work. Why I'm talking about all these things? Because the credibility of him as a leader, not just as Danube Group, but also as the clan of Sajans, he is putting that team and family values together, and he makes sure that he's practicing them so that it reflects onto us as well.
And it's certainly reflected, right? It's incredibly impressive. I think in my research before this episode, the list of things that you do with your personal time is like fell off the screen, right? You do philanthropy. You're a successful and accomplished artist as well. Talk to us about how you manage your time and how you manage to fit all of that into your day.
So the thing is, a lot of times people ask that, how do you juggle between so many things? That's what we will come to first. I'm a woman. So no offense to men, but women can definitely multitask. And I definitely believe men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and they bring beauty to the table from their own aspects. So me being a woman, and I'm coming from India, and in the Indian subcontinent, they show a goddess who has multiple hands. And this is a clear depiction of a woman as well. And that goddess lives in every woman. Us as women, we can multitask, and we are very good at time management. And if you can do the time management well, you can definitely do a lot of things. So that's the key. And for me, when it comes to being an artist, I have been painting since I was a little girl. I took it from my mom. She is also an artist and a Persian scholar. And I became a doctor because of my dad, and I became an artist because of my mom. So I got the best of both worlds. So art in any form, it's beautiful. It can be conversational art. It can be a form of business art. It can be marketing. It can be written art. It could be art on canvas. So everything which is art, it really makes me feel very happy. And it just stimulates my right side of the brain, which is the food for my soul. And I'm really happy that I'm able to do that. And sometimes I'm able to take out time. And that just takes me into a trance when I'm on a canvas. And it's something, a dive into another world, I would say. And it's a very refreshing thing. I don't want to call it a practice. It's just something that happens,
You held your stomach when you talked
Yeah.
about it. That's fast. So do you find peace when it's painting, right? Is it
Yes.
oil?
Yes.
Oiled
I
canvas?
do oil, and majority of my paintings are acrylic on canvas because they are more vibrant colors, and I love colors, of course. So it is bringing you peace. It's something which is like therapy, and a lot of artists will say that to you. Even if you will do it by your hands, I'll one day bring you a kit to do the paintings. You will love it. It's
I used to do a lot of it.
oh
I
really?
I love art. I used to draw a lot when I was a child, but unfortunately, I had a teacher who was less enthusiastic about the things that I drew.
Oh,
I wanted to
know.
shade in pencil, and they wanted me to draw, what was it, a fruit bowl in color, and I did it as if it was all made with metal, like shading, and I failed.
And you still remember that.
Oh, it was very painful.
See?
Yeah,
Yeah. A
'cause I thought
teacher
it was
can
great.
make or break.
Everybody thought it was great. It was like you failed. The
Oh,
task was to draw, a lifelike one. I
a
was like,
teacher
well,
can make or break it,
yeah,
right?
and then after that, I didn't draw again.
Oh, then we should try it again. So it is so amazing to be able to express whatever is on your mind. And when it comes out, it's such a beautiful thing. When it's ready, and then I come back because sometimes I paint for hours without having a sip of water or even eating. It's
Oh,
like a
wow.
real trance. And once it's ready, I'm like, wow, it's ready. And then I go and I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. And then I go and eat. And when I come back and see, wow, I did that. So also that happens. But that's, I think, every artist. When you come
Yeah.
back and look at your work, it's just something so beautiful, and it brings peace to you.
No, it's a fascinating topic to talk about, because obviously as a founder or a CEO of your own company, finding and carving out time. You seem to have an amazing model of combining family and your own personal time to make sure that your health and wellness is also taken care of. I think it's a really important thing for people starting businesses to do,
So
so they
when
don't
people
burn
say,
out.
yeah, exactly. The point of burnout, this is something one of my friend, she is also working with us. The other day she was talking about, oh, I'm really tired at work and I feel like I'm having a burnout. Then just, I wanted to play with her in that moment. And I asked her, listen, if you get a promotion right now as the director of the department, what are you going to do? What is your plan? So she started talking about this and that and expanding into another country and this. So her
Adding to
ideas
your own
became
burnout.
so big. And then I came back to the point, but what about your burnout right now? Aren't you burnt out right now? So then it shook her. And I said that, we are capable of doing so much more. The burnouts, the limitations, they're all in our head. What I mean, I'll come back to it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Anybody, but I said, because you will be motivated that you are the director, you are getting a bigger paycheck. So you will find your motivations and you will find your relaxations during the same 24 hours, which are with you today as well. So here, it is not about you being burnt out. It is about you finding your motivation and consistency.
Yeah.
And that was a good conversation that we had. And she was really happy that we had that conversation. And then she found her way to get better in that moment. Why I'm talking about it, that we are capable of doing a lot. More than we can think and more than we can imagine. And that is why leaders like Rizwan Sajan or the big leaders like Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid are able to accomplish what they have accomplished today.
Yeah.
And we are witnesses to that. And why is it that we put in our heads that we cannot do so much?
Yeah.
My question is, why not?
No, it's a really good take. Personally, I think burnout is a combination of things, right? I think a lot of it comes down to, do you have ownership of the ability to do the job that you want to do? If you have external forces playing around with that causes friction. Friction causes heat causes pain.
Correct.
Right? Also, have you set up your team structure correctly?
Let's divide it,
Okay.
right? Good point. When you're saying that there is friction, right? Here comes, if let's say somebody's facing that at work, one of the problems that comes in that, oh, there are so many other people who are playing on my decision making, so I'm not able to take it, so I'm burning out. I understand. The solution to that, in my opinion, is you need to find the problem and point it out first.
So communication, your relationship.
There is always a solution, and a dialogue always helps.
Yeah,
there is always a way to solve a problem. If you're not able to solve it right now, maybe you're not pointing at the right problem. And if you point it out very openly, you will know that what is the right solution to it. There are times when the other person or the situation needs to be solved, but there are also times where we need to solve ourselves. So that independent, open, unbiased thought to the problem and pointing it out is the most important exercise you can do before you talk about burnout. Then come to the solution, then comes the communication and how you find that, and then there are times, yes, you are really pushing yourself against the wall or you're pushing the wall too much. Okay. You need to find a moment for yourself, breathe. You can always find 10 minutes of breathing in the morning. Believe me, nobody's so busy that you can't find 10 minutes of breathing.
No, I agree.
So there
I
are
have two young
moments which
boys
can
as
help
well,
you.
so if I can find time, anybody can.
The Apple Watch, it was such a nice feature once I was using it. It used to remind me 1 minute of breathing. And it used to make sure that I'm breathing. It's such a good reminder from your technology. So you can use your technology to help you do those exercises to not keep you in a burnt out state. And a reminder that those exercises will help you go to the next level. So you can do a lot. So believe me, when you say I do a lot of things, I haven't even started.
So that's an interesting jump off point. So you talk about technology. AI is obviously very prevalent around us at the moment. It's growing and going from leaps to bounds. How is the Danube Group sort of looking at AI and deploying it within its divisions?
So I'm really proud to say that Adil Sajan, he's our MD again, he is really, really strong on the side of tech. And he is really trying to work on the radical changes and leaps and bounds to bring in that technology and AI into the company. And for example, last year, we have really developed a very beautiful app which is an AI-driven app, which is called D1,
Mm-hmm.
also pronounced a done, so
Very
you get
nice.
your job done. So D1 is an app which we are rolling out very, very soon, which will be a very beautiful platform, which will be an interface between the clients and ourselves. This is one of the tech advances that we've done, and this is a very advanced application that we are doing. While this is happening, we are encouraging our teams as well to take courses. We have on board a lot of AI specialists. And we are encouraging, especially not just marketing, but all divisions and departments to be able to use it. And this helps them to keep pace with the world, how it is moving forward. So yeah, tech is definitely one area we're really focusing on.
And I think it's certainly something that businesses of all sizes need to consider, right? I don't think there's materially a difference between a giant conglomerate and a small company in its application of new age technologies. You have to test, you have to learn, and you have to democratize it and put it to people so that they can test and learn as well. I think my one piece of advice to small businesses is don't centralize it into one place. AI is very different to a key specialism like robotic process automation or workflow where you can just have a team do that on behalf of others. I think AI should be sent to everybody and say, what are you currently doing that is non-value adding time-wise, and then can AI do that activity?
Yeah.
That's certainly the vision from Raheel, our CEO, and how we're looking at deploying AI into our systems for our customers in a safe and controlled way. Obviously, we're a digital bank with a human touch. We bridge the gap between how can I leverage modern and amazing technology and digital experiences, but then how can I always ensure that if a customer wants to get a service or has a problem or wishes to speak to somebody, they can always get to that.
Yes. See, it's coming anyway. So if you want to keep pace and catch up, it's great. If you will not, you will be left behind and you will become obsolete. So as fast and soon you can accept it and keep pace, I think that will be the right way to do it. Who moved my cheese? It just goes back to that book.
Yeah.
And you would rather be the first or the second rat in that, right?
Yeah.
So I am definitely pro the advances that it is bringing and the benefits that it is bringing. And there's also a term called FAFO. Have you heard of this FAFO? FAFO?
FAFO?
So I'll give it to you. It's called F around and find out.
Okay, of course.
So it's right now, AI is in such a nascent stage. If you think about what we want to achieve, and the thing is, even the AI developers not fully know where it's going to go.
It changes every day.
It is evolving and it's going to evolve furthermore like a virus in future. We know this and we are prepared mentally in some ways for it. But right now, for the people, we encourage them to try and just keep trying around. So we use the word fiddle rather than the F around. We use fiddle around and FAFO. So you need to try and put in the right, words and questions to it. And I like that it also helps you frame the right questions. So what it is also teaching us to not just be ready with the answers, but to be able to ask the right questions to it. For example, if there is, let's say ChatGPT, what is the best way to get the best answer from it? If you're asking the right kind of prompt to it, the right kind of framing of question, which comes down to my first point that you need to point out the problem first. And that helps 50% of the problem.
Amazing. That's great advice. So you mentioned before that you had the support of the Danube HR team to help you find these roles. For those companies that are a lot smaller in scale, what tips or tricks can you help provide so they can find the right people?
So that's a very good question for people who don't have the backing of a bigger company or support. And a lot of people face that. I think one thing you can do is consult a company which is which has an expertise in that. So there are a lot of consultancies which can help you with that. And if you're not able to afford that, then you need to build your department internally and apply the best practices to it. So as we were discussing earlier, when it is an HR interview or even if it is just a podcast or any discussion, if it is a canned conversation, it gets really boring and sometimes you really can't get everything out of a person. So you can maybe, use your own set of skills to be able to have that conversation and find the right people. And either you hire an expert who has a proven record, which he has or she has accomplished in his life in that field, or sometimes it happens that you can even cross hire. That there are some times where you find that this person is great in marketing, but he can do better in sales. So, so you can also cross hire from inter departments as well. So that is also one of the things, you need to look into your company. Sometimes there are talents hidden inside as well.
Yeah.
And if you're hiring, from outside, one, you can consult the experts or some other company who has an expertise in this, or you have to, find your own way. It will be a hit and trial, yes, but that's the only way to do it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So we've gone through sort of your journey, the journey of Danube Group as a whole. What's next?
What's next?
What's next for you and for the company?
The future is beautiful. I would first talk about my role in Danube Properties, which is as a director for channel partner relationships. So we have a growing number of channel partners, which are brokerages in Dubai.
Of course.
With Dubai expanding really at this pace, it is just beautiful and phenomenal. And the whole world is a witness to that. While that happens and there are, developers launching, there are 13.5 launches every day. That's what the data said.
Wow.
Yeah. So if that's happening, we need brokers to be able to facilitate to sell them to the people, which is great. So today, at the moment, we have around 8,000 brokerages onboarded with us. That's the large number, and it is growing every month. So 300 to 400 new agencies come on board. So the point, we needed a very strong department where we can build and cultivate a good relationship, long-lasting relationship with those channel partners. Why do we call them channel partners? Because at the end of the day, we grow together. And if I'm building, you're helping me sell it. So we become partners. And if you're able to sell it, I'll be able to build more. So, we are able to lift each other better. And you're making my life easier that way.
Mhm.
And so am I doing for you. So we become channel partners, and we are trying to work on our relationship in such a way that our message and our brand as Danube, it is resonant with the people. And whatever our current vision is, we are able to cascade it throughout.
Mhm.
Now, Danube as a company in Danube Properties, we are calling it the 3.0 version. When Danube Properties was established in 2014, it was under a CEO, and when Chairman Rizwan Sajan took over, that was 2.0, where he introduced the famous 1% payment plan, and he made the affordable housing, where he made sure that like almost 15,000 houses were, bought by people who were salaried people, so that whole really, really, it was so exhilarating for us to be able to see people own their homes.
Yeah.
It was such a beautiful dream come true for them. And the next came when MD Adil Sajan came in. He brought in the new vision, the technology, the beautiful architecture and facade and interiors. And it has really grown leaps and bounds in the 2025 year. It is not just the facade or the architecture or the interior design, which has been upgraded and uplifted, but it is also the most beautiful part is it is the systems that we are creating such smooth journeys for the clients and the brokers.
Amazing.
How do we do that? With the technology. And
Done.
we are doing that already, and we are ensuring that the finance and audits are all in place so that the commissions are paid in time. So there's so much that 2026 brings forward with the beautiful launches. The launches cover, for example, the luxury segment. We have really, really beautiful buildings like Breeze, which have been launched in Maritime City.
Yes.
That is one of my favorite buildings with all the amenities and the architecture and design. Then we are now launching a mid-segment in JVC, which is something similar to Times in its ticket size, where we are not leaving behind the people who need affordable housing, but at the quality of Danube.
Amazing.
Then comes, we are bringing in commercial towers on the likes of Shah Rukh's, which was sold out, right? So because that was such a success, we definitely want to continue that. And now, if commercial is done, we don't want to leave one side of the townhouse and communities. So we are also coming up with a very beautiful villa community very soon. So we are making sure that the clients will have a full buffet of good quality products to be able to choose from, be it mid-segment, be it a luxury segment, townhouse or villa community, or commercials. With our 1% payment plan, fully furnished apartments, and the most important thing is post-handover payment plan. What helps them? You are paying 70% and you're getting the handover. The rest of them, 1% you're still paying, but that comes in through your rental. And your ROI is actually the ROE, which you're getting the rental
Yes, of course.
returns at 70%.
Mm.
So we're really, really looking forward to that. And 2026 has so much in store.
And it's not just 2026, right? Obviously, the UAE wants to go to 30 million by 2030, I think, was the vision.
So it's
How
just
does-
my favorite topic to talk about. I love Dubai so much. I feel like it's mine. You know, it's like my baby. Really, I'm so proud of whatever Dubai and UAE is doing and whatever has been accomplished. And what country in the world will do what Dubai is doing? For example, as a city, they have a D33, which is the economic agenda, where they want to double the population from 2023 till 2033.
Yes.
What happens there? 250,000 people are coming every year to live here.
Yeah.
Where are they going to stay? Where are they going to work? They need infrastructure. For all of that, we have the launches and the developers. You know, so when somebody says, oh, there's going to be an oversupply, can you please read the economic agenda?
Yeah, I don't see it.
So D33. Then there is a D40, which is such a fabulous agenda where, you know, you will see that there is also social agenda in place. There will be hospitals, there will be schools, education agenda is on board. The parks are going to be 400% more. The malls are going to increase 400% more. Then there is the Centennial agenda. Do you know about that?
No.
D71.
Mm-hmm.
Which city in the world has 100 years plan? So in the year 71, they will be completing 100 years. There is already a plan in place. And, you know, these are not just dreams and thoughts we are selling. You can see the development happening and implementation happening. We were talking about 1 trillion achievement for the economy. 7 years in advance, we are almost close to that, 15 billion less. Can you believe that? And that's proudly when Sheikh Mohammed said that we don't say, we do.
And it's you know, it's reflective as well in the businesses that are coming through, right? So the ambition was to be at 1 million businesses by 2030. Now that number has been revised very recently. We think that it's somewhere closer to 2, which is absolutely phenomenal.
It's
Where
just
do you
so
see that level
exhilarating
of
to see
growth?
this, you know, it just feels so nice and motivating to be able to be under the leadership of people who are, you know, delivering the promises way in advance. Who does this? Only Dubai does it in the world. People around the world, sometimes they're not able to realize and they sometimes can't believe it because it looks too good to be
Sometimes
true
they
to
don't
them.
want to believe it either.
It's just a beautiful, utopic city, which is a reality. It shows in all our bank accounts. Come on.
Well, yeah.
How real can it get? And everybody is really, really on the right path. The happiness quotient is so high. There is a reason, because you will not find potholes and falling around, and, you know, you will not find the traffic jams troubling you.
Believe me,
There
I'm
will
from
be
the
no
UK.
cow
I
running
know-
into your buggy, you know?
I know
So
about potholes from the UK that just aren't fixed.
the
at any
weather,
appropriate-
they're trying to make it such a way that it'll be a walkable city. Who's doing this? Nobody in the world can have a vision like this. To have a vision like this, you really need a heart and spine of iron. And that's what our leaders are doing. And I'm so proud of Dubai. And with Dubai, we are really looking forward to grow. We've been growing as Danube. We are really, really happy. And with this vision, you know, all the, you know, economic agenda, social agenda in place, it helps us to be able to sell Dubai much more easy.
Of course, yeah.
The entire world is conspiring to bring everyone to Dubai. It feels like that.
It's very exciting, truly.
A lot of times it comes that when I'm attending a panel, a lot of women, you know, come in and they ask me things that sometimes they face certain issues in the family, especially in the Indian and Arab subcontinent, because our cultures are very similar. So this is also something that comes as a discussion that, you know, I have so many things at home and I have so much at work. And the work doesn't say, oh, because you have so much at home that your work will be reduced. Because you're at the end of the day, the deliverables are going to be the same. So that is one thing which always comes as a discussion. These are the moments again where I remind women that they are capable of a lot more than what the other counterpart is capable of. I am sorry, but I am biased towards women in that, you know, they are amazing. Well, they are, you know, we bring our own sets to the table. You know, we bring a lot of things to the table. Women have a lot of resilience and they have a lot more patience as compared to men in general terms and statistics. And I think they're really capable of juggling between a lot of roles and responsibilities. And today, if you see women at work, they are really, really strong and they're coming up really well. There are a lot of women in the boards that are included, and a lot of women who are establishing their businesses, and they're doing really, really well. And Dubai has done really well in bringing different programs for them and encouraging women-led businesses. I think that it is really important to reflect onto this half of the world population where we can encourage them, and there are so many ideas and there's so much good energy that women bring to the table. And I think I always feel very happy and motivated to see a woman in leadership. And I always encourage them, and I tell them that, whatever comes as a hurdle your way, don't look at that. Look at your targets, that you will be there.
And I think it comes back to Dubai itself, right? So the mechanisms, the support mechanisms, the groups, and the actual support to run a family are much higher here, right? So you mentioned you can have a driver, you can have a nanny, you can do all of these things. So I think this is why we're seeing it flourish in this region in particular, because those support mechanisms are there. You can ensure that the children are safe and everything's sort of managed at home, and you can go and follow your dreams.
The house help here is the biggest blessing one can talk about. I was just talking to one of my friends who's moved in from Australia, and she was like, this is the best place on earth because I can do so much more with my time, and you get the best of the helps over here. So yes, we have the support system, and all of these things enable women to be able to be more productive. And really, thank God that we are here in the right time at the right place.
Yeah, and we get a selection of that talent as well as businesses. I only have one final question for you. Do you know what this building is?
Oh, so you know what? I've been sitting here talking to you, but I'm looking at my logo.
Your logo.
My
in
view
the
is
background.
amazing.
I don't know if people can see this, but there is a Danube building being constructed.
Oasis is coming up.
DSO. Yeah.
Yes, Oasis is coming up. That's I've been looking at that while talking to you. Sorry, but my view is better. So yeah, and I'm really, really happy. We are also coming up. I can let it out as a truth that the community will be coming up in DSO.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Very exciting.
So we are really, really looking forward to that. And it'll be in the coming few months. So it's not a long wait.
You're doing so much. And it's so exciting. It's clear that the future vision for yourself and Danube is very, very exciting. Thank you so much for coming and spending time with us.
Pleasure has been all mine. Thank you for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you.